Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the April 30th, 2023 edition of Speaking of Zane. This is the 229th episode. 229. That's a lot of episodes. Well, let's see who we've got in here tonight. Got a lot of updates. I've been out of town and doing some military-related stuff. Let's see. Colin's in there. Colin, happy birthday. Colin had a birthday just a couple days ago. Good to see you make another orbit around the sun. Daryl is in there. Hey, Daryl, good to see you this week. More about that later. Steve Shirley's in there. Hey, Steve, are y'all back home now? Hope you had a good trip. Enjoyed following your activities there. Amy is in there. Hello, Amy. Jimbo Miller's in there. Hey, Jim. Hope you had a good week, buddy. All right. Let's see. I think Ken's in there. I had to watch another SpaceX launch. I didn't know there was another one on tap this week. All right. Let's see. Carl's in there from Truman Lake. They're in Missouri. Steve says they are back home. Awesome. Okay. Well, I know you have others planned, Steve. I know when we talked when I was in Omaha a few weeks ago, Kathy was telling me your lineup there. So awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Let's see what we've got on tap tonight. Brenda Lusk is in there. Hey, Brenda, up in Michigan. Hope you're doing well. All right. Let's see. Well, nothing to report on the weight loss. I'm at 77 pounds. Now, when I go out of town, I actually do better than when I'm home because I just do for some reason. And I was just out of town for a few days, and all I ate was meat and broccoli. I did eat some broccoli, but I haven't weighed in 3 or 4 days. So, and I usually don't weigh till first thing in the morning. And anyway, so I'll see where I'm at tomorrow, and I'll report next week. There's my dad. Hey, Dad. Good to have you in there. I know you had some visitors. My sister Sharon's daughter and her family came down to see my folks over the weekend. They live in Madison, Georgia. I think, is that right, Dad? Madison, Georgia. Not a very long drive. A little bit shorter of a drive than ours, I believe. Not by much, though. But all right, let's see. So I was out of town. I was telling you guys last week, I went to St. Louis, where I go often. It's one of my favorite cities, actually. And we had a military related thing there. That's why I want to tell you guys about. We did instead of just having the people take old, worn, weathered flag down off the flagpole and put one up. We decided to make a big deal out of it and do we didn't know if it would be a big deal, but we decided that a bunch of veterans that work in this complex where the flag was worn, we would get together and have a little flag detail to ceremoniously take the old flag down and raise the new one. And with only a week's notice, I guess, I managed to pull together a ragtag group of multi-service flag detail. I think we had 2 Air Force, a Navy, a Marine, 2 Air Force, Navy, Marine, and 4 soldiers, 4 Army. So we had there was about 9 of us in the detail because I wanted to get as many hands on that flag as I could. I wanted as many veterans out there involved as possible. So I had 1 raising, 1 lowering, 2 folding, a couple of helping to attach the lanyard, 1 raising, somebody take care of the music. Young lady Sarah that was in the Navy, she had the speakers out there so we could do the national anthem. It was fantastic. I got to ask Daryl. Well, Daryl was there, so Daryl lives up there. I tell you guys, every time I go up there, not every time, but often when I go up there, I'll connect with Daryl. And Daryl doesn't live too far from where we were at there, so I invited him to come out and not participate, but witness what we were doing there. And I got to ask, there were over 100 people. This is like less than a week's notice during the middle of the workday, 2:30, I think we did it, Daryl, 2:30 in the afternoon, or 1:30, I don't remember, but over 100 people broke away from work to come out there and pay the respects to the flag. And of course, Daryl was there, and I got to. I was the one barking the commands. I called the detail to attention and present arms and order arms, and they did so good. Daryl, how did you think everybody did? I mean, we had no practice. I wrote an order of ceremony, so everybody knew exactly what we're going to do. We did 1 little dry run on paper, so everybody knew their cue for what they were going to do and when they were going to start, and it went off without a hitch. And it was fantastic. Daryl, yeah, how did I do, Daryl? Barking the commands there. I didn't expect to have quite as large a crowd as we had, but it was fantastic. But yeah, so now we're waiting on. I even had a Marine there, a photographer. He volunteered. He said, "Hey, I'm one of our documentarians here." He says, "You need me to come out and do some video and this now?" I said, "Absolutely." So he got some video and some stills, and he's editing some things over the weekend, and I'll have some things to share later on, and you'll get to see a video of it and everything. It didn't last too long, did it, Daryl? I mean, I think we were maybe 15 minutes from end to end. I think the longest thing was the folding of the old flag. But we even had one of the veterans is a scoutmaster, and he received the old flag, and he's going to take that flag to his scout unit, and they ceremoniously retire American flags. So we got it all covered. But yeah, it was fantastic. Let me share a little. Let's see if I can. I'll show you. May have seen this on Daryl's. There we go. There you go. Can you guys see that? Okay. That's the. Let's see if I can. Well, that's as big as it's going to get, I guess. But that's the. That's us at the flagpoles. We did the American flag, the Illinois flag, and our company flag. But that's the little ragtag multi-service flag detail there. One guy had already stepped away, an Army guy, of course, he drifted. Carl is his name, but we got everybody else there captured. But I'm waiting. I'm anxious for some more pictures so that I can see the size of the crowd. Daryl, you said something about 130. Did you count, or was that the talk that was going on? I don't know. I in my mind, as I saw this sea of people in front of me, I was thinking, God, that's at least 100 people. But anywho, that was kind of fun. And Daryl, I tell you, Daryl was right in front of me, and when when I called everybody to attention, boy, that old man snapped to, and he held a crisp salute the whole time. Daryl, you did good, buddy. It was good. It was good. The weather was absolutely gorgeous too. It was a beautiful day for it. But we actually have another one, Daryl, that we're going to do. We have, like those two buildings right there, those million square foot buildings that you can't see them in this picture, but we have two more like that, about maybe 4 miles away, and drove by there, and the American flag over there is faded and tattered. So we're going to get that one on the calendar, and I think the company's going to ask us to do this every time there's a flag, which is fine with me. Um, I think it gives us an opportunity to tell a really good story, and but it was really a lot of fun. I was glad to be a part of it, and man, that group right there, they did such a fantastic job. And you could see, especially this guy here in the front, Jose. Um, Boy, he was so proud. You could tell. I mean, he was like, transported back in time, and you could just see it in the way, the enthusiasm. It was so neat to see. But that was so fun, and I stayed. When we do that, Daryl? Friday, I think, and I stayed over, and I helped our team out there, talent acquisition team, do a bunch of interviewing for a bunch of roles they have open out there, and even got to interview a Navy veteran while I was there. All right, let's see. We have some people join here. Let's see. Oh, there's my buddy Dan, KC7 MSU, my radio buddy Dan out in Tempe. Are you in Tempe? You're in, I can't remember there. If you're, I never can remember if you're in Tempe or Chandler or where, but you're in that Phoenix area. Good to have you in there, buddy. Let's see who else joined us. Another Ham, NT4TH. How are you doing, buddy? Let's see, where are you at? Oh, you're on your way to Warner Robins tomorrow. Okay, well, stop by the museum. I always enjoy stopping into the museum there. They've got Mesa, yeah, Mesa. They got some things in the museum there, Todd, that I haven't seen in a little bit. The last time I was there, they just got their B-17 and hadn't really done much to it. And I haven't been there in several years, so I need to make a trip there. But good to have you in there. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Okay, let's see. So that was the deal. That was the flag ceremony there. We got a lot of other activities scheduled for the month of May, since it's Military Appreciation Month and it's Memorial Day. We're going to place at that very location where we did that flag. We're going to place flags like you see at like these flags back here, like you see at the cemeteries and everything. We're going to place some in that area around the flag. We're going to place you guys know what the battlefield cross is, with the boots and the helmet and the rifle. I've got a couple of those silhouettes, about this tall. I've got a couple of those on order. And then we're going to do a missing man table in the lobby of our headquarters and in the cafeteria at this other location. So we're making a big deal out of it this year, so people really know what the sacrifice is all about, and it's not just a long weekend to grill hot dogs. So they won't be able to say we didn't do our part to share what it's all about. And the thing I'm most excited about is in addition to this flag retirement and the flag placement and the battlefield cross, the missing man table, all those things give us a really good opportunity to tell the Memorial Day story and more, and highlight Memorial Day. Thing I'm most excited about is we're having a webinar, a roundtable discussion that this guy is going to facilitate, and I've got some guests. I've got a young man who's a reserve. He's an Army officer. He's in the reserves now, major. He's going to share, well, what these individuals have in common is they've all lost a loved one or a comrade in service to the country. And this guy, Ben, he lost his sergeant major. And so he's going to share his story. And then I've got another one of my colleagues in Omaha. He's going to share the story of his uncle who died on D-Day. And then I've got Kelly Kowal from My Warrior's Place, who's going to share Corey's story. And then listen to this, Jim. I've got a guy by the name of Greg Page, who lives in Omaha and who works at a business partner of ours, Cisco System. And Greg has agreed to come and share the story of his son, Corporal Dagan Page, who was killed, among the 13 killed in that disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, and is buried at Omaha National Cemetery. And he and I have exchanged some emails, and he has agreed to come and be on the roundtable that I'll facilitate. So I'm excited about that. Now, at a minimum, it's going to be an internally broadcast thing. But here, what I'm trying to open it up to the world. I'm trying to open it up to the public. So there may be a chance you guys can tune in and watch it. So if that's the case, I'll share how to do that sometime between now and then. It's going to be on May the 25th. It's the Thursday before Memorial Day. So we picked that because obviously Memorial Day is a holiday. We don't want to do it after Memorial Day. So that leaves the Friday. Well, people are spinning up to go out of town for the long weekend and stuff. So we decided the Thursday before, which happens to be, I think, the 25th, is when we're going to do that. It's only going to be an hour long. So anyway, stay tuned on that. I would love for you guys to tune in and see that. And worst case, I'll have the recording and I'll figure out how to get that shared. But yeah, I'm excited about it. This is shaping up to be a really good month of activity, meaningful messaging to people who may not even know what Memorial Day is about, let alone be able to put a face with it. And they will, because as I'm interviewing or as I'm facilitating this discussion between Ben and Dennis and Kelly and Greg, as they're sharing the story of their loved one, we'll have their picture side by side there. So anyway, so yeah, so I hope I can get all that squared. There's a lot of coordination you have to do on these kind of things, and I have a day job too, so but I'll get her done. Okay, let's see what else is going on. So if you haven't gone to the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, go there and check out Lori's post today. She shared this with me this afternoon before she posted it. But this is something that I know I have, and I know Lori has, and we've been very careful and considerate of Abby and our son-in-law Will. But something finally happened that I think we've both been yearning for. Now Colton is Zane's oldest son, and he's now 11. He was 4 when Zane passed, and he's 11 now. And like I said, Lori and I have been very careful about not overstepping and being sensitive. He has a new dad. He has a dad, Will, who's awesome. He's in the Navy, and we don't want to encroach on that. We don't want to detract from any of that. Um, so we've been very, very considerate about everything. And anyway, long story short, I think Lori's in here. I didn't see if she joined, but about 1:30 in the morning, this morning, last night, Colton called her, and she was worried. Why is he calling at 1:30 in the morning? So she made sure everything was okay. Um, and you can go read it for yourself. But the I guess the message is, he said to her, "Can you tell me about my daddy?" And we've been um, wanting. We have been starving to tell those two about their daddy, and it's taken this long, to for something to shift or to develop. And finally, it was this young man wanting to know about his dad. And anyway, Lori describes it in her post there. But wow, it's he wants to go to the cemetery. Um, I have so many things I want to share with him. I have things I want to give him that were Zane's. And we've held back on all of that. Of course, he was only 4, 5, 6. Now he's 11. And but anyway, I cannot tell you how that makes me feel anyway. And I know Lori the same way. But anyway, I don't know if anybody will relate to it. But wow, it's um, our worst fear was that his kids would never care to even know anything about him. But so anyway, this is something awesome that has transpired. So we'll see. We'll certainly be respectful, and we'll just see how things develop there. But I'm excited. Oh, I forgot to mention. Um, I had these made. Actually, I didn't have these made. I had another set made, but one of my colleagues at the company had these coins made. Had these coins made. The challenge coins, and whoops, sorry, wrong camera. He had these coins made with our logo and all of that stuff, and so I was able to give all of the flag detail members challenge coin, and they were thrilled with that. So okay, let's see. Well, I've only got home this morning. I was up at 4:30 in St. Louis and had the car turned in by 5:30. I was at the gate by 6, and was on the way home by 7, and made it home. I got a lot of stuff caught up and done today here at the house, including laundry, because I'm heading to Dallas tomorrow. So I'm heading to Dallas tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be there Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, be home Thursday. But I'll tell you guys all about that later. Okay, well, what is the hat of the week? Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week always has something to do with, usually, what's going on, what we're up to, what we've been doing, something I've seen, something I've heard. And this week's hat of the week, can anybody tell wrong camera again, what kind of air machine that is? Daryl knows. Actually, my buddy there, KC7MSU out in Mesa, gave me this hat when he visited Doc. It's a B29. There you go. Yeah. Well, it's a hat of the week because this morning at the rental car place, got on the rental car van to go to you have to drop it off the airport, and they do a shuttle there in St. Louis. And this old man got on with an old man son, and he sat down, and he had a B29 hat on, and I had my Strategic Air Command hat clipped to my backpack, and he says, Air Force, huh? I said, yes, sir. And he says, me too, Korea. And I'm like, wow, thank you. And turns out he was a B-29 crew member in Korea. And he was pretty frail, pretty frail guy, but he was getting around on his own, didn't use a cane or anything, and got on and off the little shuttle all on his own. So that was special to bump into him. So that's why this B-29 Doc is, which is one of the two B-29s that are flying. Anybody know the name of the other B-29 that's flying? We have two now. Doc was just restored recently. There is another, so there's two. But anyway, that was kind of a treat to run into that guy. There you go, Daryl. Daryl gets a gold star. Fifi, yeah, Fifi is the other. Okay, well, let's see. I did not pull any this week in military history items, but I think I may have saved one. Let me look real quick. You guys can pipe up if you have any military history items for the week. Oh, yeah, I did pull one up. And this probably should have been last week, I believe. In 1986, I guess it was April of 1986. Let me see. Yeah, April 26th, I guess, of 1986. Chernobyl, the Chernobyl disaster. Yeah, and Lori and I were in England in 86. But yeah, Chernobyl. Anybody watch that movie? I watched it a couple years ago. Had a lot of stuff I didn't realize that had happened. But so that's one of the items in history. Hey, Matt. Oh, I forgot to acknowledge Matt and Katie. Hey, Matt and Katie. So Matt's anniversary of his initial contract, he went to basic 15 years ago. How about that? Wow. I don't even think of you as that old, Matt, for some reason. Yeah, Carl was there in 86. That's right. Yeah, I think the prevailing winds had Chernobyl going away from us, but we did get caught up in the mad cow situation, which I understand they have now lifted that ban. Carl and Peggy, I don't know if you guys followed this through the years, but evidently we can now donate blood. They used to turn us away, right, for decades because of that, if you lived in the UK. But I guess you can now. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's another one. I did pull another item. 43 years ago, this would have been, see, I had two of them stacked up in the saved. I just didn't translate them to my notes. I forget which day it was. April. It was April 43 years ago. 43 years ago. So this would have been, was this late 70s? Anyway, it was Operation Eagle Claw. Operation Eagle Claw was the failed Iranian hostage rescue attempt where we lost 8 American service members. I think we lost, there was another country's service member we lost, but 8 Americans. All right, there you go. So I don't feel so bad. I got you 2 this week in history items there. Okay, well, let's see. On the Veteran Cemetery Challenge, I only know of one this week, and that was Daryl. Today, Daryl and his granddaughter and 2 great-granddaughters went to Jefferson Barracks. Daryl, put their names in the chat there. But Daryl, is it your daughter Donna, and then our granddaughter Donna, and then two of your great-granddaughters, I believe, were there visiting, and Daryl took them out there today. The weather, Daryl, when I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday was absolutely beautiful, but it took a dip on Saturday night. So I think it was probably chilly for you guys out there today. Okay, let's see. Steve's got a This Week in Military History, April of 45. Okay, Berlin fell to the Russians. Yeah, we know what that started, don't we? Okay, yeah, Daryl says Amanda, London, and Lakeland. All right, well, looks like you guys had a good visit, Daryl. So we got Daryl's there. So that means we had one visit this week. And listen to this. We are at 792 visits. We need 8 visits to hit the 800 mark. Hard to fathom, 800 visits. I mean, before Zane, I had been to a couple, but we've been 800 visits. Incredible. There's Aunt Cindy over in Alabama. Hey, Aunt Cindy. Okay, we got somebody stopped by. Is that you, Amy, that went to Omaha National? We can add another to the list there. Okay, Daryl, good. Good. Well, stick with me while I do a little admin work here. So if we add Daryl's to Amy's. I understand that Roy's headstone is not there yet, but of course, like Daryl said, it takes a good 6-8 weeks for the stone to be cut and etched and all that stuff. All right, so let's see. We need to add. So that makes 795 visits. Okay. And then we had some Thank a Vet thank yous this week. Daryl had, Daryl, this is the only one I remember you posting about. Daryl had an Army guy, Army MP named Jerome that he had a good conversation with. And let's see. The only other ones I need to look back through. So you guys may have had some I didn't catch, but I totaled up mine for the week. Of course, it was a unique circumstance there, but I had the eight members of the flag detail. And then I had about 10 others that weren't a part of the flag detail, but I got to visit with. And then I thanked a Navy vet at the airport the other day. And then today I mentioned the Air Force guy, the Air Force Korean War vet. So I had 10, 18, 19, 20 for the week. That's not quite Aunt Paula territory, but that's not too shabby. So if I add it all up, it looks like we're about 30 or about 21 thank yous this week that I know about. So we're at 2,086. 2,086. How about that? Thank you guys for that. Okay, let's see. Organizations. I mentioned last week, and I saw Amy posted about the Omaha locations. Let me back up a minute. Matt thanked a Vietnam vet today. Yeah, we'll do a little calculating on the fly here. That means we had 22. That means we're at 2,087. Thank you, Matt. Okay, let's see. So Amy posted about the carry the load. Carry the load. They have the 4 different routes they're taking. They're on their way. They left this past week from their starting points and making their way all through the month of May. And go back to the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, and you'll see, if you're in Omaha, you'll see that Amy posted the Omaha locations, I think starting Council Bluffs, and then the bunch of different Omaha locations, culminating, I believe, at Omaha National. And of course, they'll have in our area here, there'll be some stops along the Atlanta and points north. And then Daryl, I don't remember, was there a Jefferson Barracks stop? I can't recall if we went through that last week or not, but Anyway, I've enjoyed them for the last 3 years, walking alongside them, the dedication. These these folks, they take like 3 weeks off work and go on this bus and do this from the start. Some don't do the whole thing, but the guy that I meet, the Dallas police officer who I've connected with the last couple of times, he goes the whole thing. So that's to carry the load. I mentioned Kelly is going to be a guest of mine. And then, of course, Running to Honor coming up in July. All right. Okay, Daryl. Yeah, I was pretty sure of that. I don't remember which route that's on, but that'll be kind of cool. I think you'll enjoy that. Okay. Well, we had some unfortunate news. A couple of unfortunate pieces of news. If you watch the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, our good friend Ken there lost a colleague that he served with, as many of us are doing now as we age. But Colonel Trevor Flint, United States Air Force retired. I think, Ken, was he also a missileer, a conehead? He passed away this past week. So prayers to his family. Had to be a young man, Ken, young as you, right? That's terrible. And then, of course, we had another tragedy in the Army aviation community. A couple of Apache longbows helicopters crashed up at near Fort Wainwright in Alaska, and that was on Thursday. And they've since identified the three that were killed. Three were killed, and one was seriously injured, and I don't know his name, but the soldiers that were killed are Chief Warrant Officer 3, Christopher Robert Iramo. I need my glasses. 39 years old, from Oneonta, New York. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Kyle McKenna, 28 years old, from Colorado Springs. And Warrant Officer 1, Stuart Wayment, 32, from North Logan, Utah. It's terrible. Obviously, combat is inherently dangerous by definition, but so is training for it. When you train like you're going to fight, you're going to have accidents. And unfortunately, there's another one there. It's terrible. I wasn't able to find any photos of them, but I found their names this afternoon, so thought I would read those off. Okay. Okay, yeah, Ken confirms he was a missileer turned maintenance. And Daryl's got his Jefferson Barracks stop on May 20th. Okay, awesome. Okay, that's all I know about there. But yeah, go take a look at Lori's account of the call from Zane's son, who we just absolutely adore, and his little daughter, and his Zane's little daughter, Colton's sister, Paisley. But I'm so excited to share with them about their dad. He was 4, so he has some, faint memories of his dad. I mean, if you see pictures of the funeral, he was sitting there right between me and Abigail on that front row. And Paisley, of course, it was just an infant. She didn't remember Zane. But Lori's working on, and I think she got this idea from my Aunt Cindy, who's with us tonight. I think Lori will correct me if I get it wrong there, but Lori is going to put together like a little scrapbook of things about Zane for Colton. So that'd be kind of fun until the next time that we're able to be with him and everything, he can learn a little bit more about his dad. That's exciting to me. Okay, let's see. That is it, I think, folks. Well, have a great week. If you see a vet, tell them thanks. if you make a visit to a veteran cemetery, let us know about it, and we'll add it to the list. And have a safe week. If you're traveling, travel safe. And I'm traveling, so I'll travel safe. And look forward to telling you guys all about it next Sunday night for the next edition of Speaking of Zane, which will be what did I say? It'll be the 230th. It'll be the 230th edition of Speaking of Zane. How about that? We started. Hello there, Bridget, one of my favorite people. Bridget's in there. We started August 5th, 2018. I'll have to every now and then. I have done, but tell the story of how that came to my mind and how it started and the name and how it stuck and everything. But all right, well, we'll see everybody next week. Have a great week, and God bless everybody.